Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. We got Major back on the channel. It's been a while. I think it's been maybe 4 or 5 weeks or so since you were last on the channel. I think you were maybe on with Matt last, if I remember correctly. But
I think so.
I haven't had you on since Jimmy Butler has formally requested a trade, which is what, like three weeks ago now, right? It feels like it was like a year ago at this point.
Yeah, it feels like forever. But
right, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since he requested the trade, obviously, and he has not been traded yet. And we're 5 days away from the trade deadline. Jimmy Butler has been suspended 3 times since we've talked. He's suspended indefinitely. The writing is on the wall that I believe he is going to be gone for sure somehow by the trade deadline. I thought he was done after the first suspension. After the first 7-game suspension, I was like, he's not coming back. And he came back, and I was shocked, right? So, all right, what are your thoughts on the latest with Jimmy Butler? We can get into the rumors of the Suns, the Grizzlies, the Bucks, whatever team that's interested, but just like, what's the latest you've heard, and what's your latest thoughts? Like, do you think he's going to get traded 100% by this Thursday?
Man, I don't know. I think they want to trade him. We know they want to trade him. Jimmy wants to be traded. Issue is he wants to go to like 1-2 teams. Like, he really just wants to go to Phoenix, but he's okay, I think, with the Warriors. Maybe even some others, but his main thing is Phoenix. And ironically, the person holding this up the most is not Jimmy Butler, is not the Miami Heat, it's Bradley Beal. And which is just poetic considering the Miami Heat fans were going crazy that they didn't trade for Bradley Beal, and now they're seeing the exact reason why. It's because the Suns can't do anything without Bradley Beal saying, I will go to this other place. No other team that Bradley Beal wants to go to or would be okay with going to wants him because he's the worst contract in the NBA. He's still a good player, but it's like you can't do anything with him. And I mean, it's not Bradley Beal's fault. Like, the Wizards gave him that contract. He earned that right with them in their eyes, but it's the whole reason that Jimmy's not traded right now. So if I had to lean towards something, I would say he is going to be traded. I've talked about this on our playbacks and other things, but early December, I had someone text me before all this started saying that Jimmy was 100% getting traded. And more will come out soon. I was like, okay, that's cool. This guy's given me stuff before, but I was like, that's not lined up with anything anyone's hearing. So I kind of
Bernie Lee? Was it Bernie Lee that said this to you?
No, I wish,
in December, as he was negating the Shams reports, right? Remember all that?
Yeah. So and I get random stuff all the time, and it's like I'm not really an insider, right? Like I know some people, but I'm not like an Ethan or a Greg or like a Barry or anyone like that. But I get random stuff all the time. And most of the time it's like, yeah, that's just kind of like a rumor. No one really. This just started happening more and more and more. Obviously, it's kind of become true. It's crazy. I refuse to believe it was happening until Jimmy said he lost his joy. And me and Greg had just recorded a post game. We were done 5 minutes, not even. I look at my phone and it's blowing up of Jimmy said he lost his joy. So we did the most useless post game pod ever, and I've been sad ever since.
Pacers? Did you do because it was the Pacer game, right? Or it was after the Pelicans, or was it the Pelicans or Pacer game you guys did?
It was the one he said he lost his joy.
That's the Pacers one, because he then asked for a trade.
Shortly
came out like an hour, 2 hours after the game.
Yeah, I've tried to block this out of my memory.
It's horrible. I know it's horrible. I'm on your side too with this. I'm so sad, man. I'm sad.
I'm a Jimmy guy. Like, I'm a Heat guy, but I love Jimmy. Like, something about Jimmy, I feel like I could connect to Jimmy. That never say die. We always have a chance type thing. That is me. Like, people think I am faking this on Twitter and all this stuff, like my optimism and like we got a chance, just get us in the playoffs.
Delusion. The delusion. I
delusional.
get it
Like,
too. I have it too at times, but not as bad.
that is me. And people think it's like a persona or a bit, and I'm like, no, I wish it was. Like, y'all should see me after some losses. I'm about to throw my phone. Like, I get so mad. But this whole thing is just confusing because it's not up to Jimmy. It's not up to really Pat Riley either. It's not up to the Heat. Like, they're trying to get something done, but they're also not just going to screw over themselves in the future to get something done right now when, worst case scenario, you get a bunch of flexibility, which is very important in this new CBA. If this was the old CBA, Jimmy would be gone. It wouldn't have been a problem. They would have been traded him. It wouldn't have gotten near as ugly, I don't think. But
He'd be on the Suns. We'd have Grayson Allen.
yeah,
We'd have Nurkic. They would have aggregated like 4 players and like
yeah,
the pick.
they would have
Like,
found a way.
yeah, I would
Yeah,
have taken. They would be like Tyus Jones, Grayson Allen, Nurkic. You know what I mean? They would have aggregated. You can't aggregate
yeah,
because they're a second apron team. So
yeah. This new CBA is just ruining everything. But it's a confusing situation. I think anyone really trying to predict is going to look foolish in one way or another.
you never know. So what do you think? Where do you think he ends up though? Because the Suns trade is in Bradley Beal's hands. He has one of the worst contracts. No one wants him. He only will go to a contender. How many contenders are actually going to give up assets for him, right? He's 31. He's on the wrong side of 30. 31's not old, but when you're 31 and you have his injury history where you've missed like 25, 30 games a year, when you're 26, 27, 28, 29, like that's the baggage that he has. And that's the issue because he's only going to get older. It's only going to get worse, right? Like you think Jimmy has issues? Like Beal arguably has had a worse injury history than Jimmy, and he's getting paid as the top 5 NBA player. He's the 5th highest contract in the NBA. Like that's the issue. He's the top freaking 35, 40. If he's that,
you can't move off of it. So like, even if it goes bad, you can't even have a large expiring to get another player in a year or two. Like you just have to let that thing ride. That's the problem.
Exactly. So where do you think he can go though? Because again, like he tarnished his value when he said Suns only because any other team that was Memphis, whatever, Bucks, whoever wanted him, right? There's been speculation. He's a rental. Like I only want to go to the Suns because they're going to give him the extension. So like that means they're going to lowball us, which Windhorse has reported that for the last 2-3 weeks, right? Like the offers they've gotten were not urgent. This is all before the multiple suspensions, right?
Yeah,
all that came out. So like it's understandable that Jimmy ruined his value because he said Suns only. So like he had that leverage in a sense, but now like what do you think is going to happen? Because again, the Heat have to get rid of this. They have to cut their ties. Like, where do you see him going? Like, and for what do you think we can actually get? And I say that because I want to transition after this to get your opinion on Luka, because that market might have been totally reset. Like, if Luka Dončić gets 1 first-round pick, well, Jimmy Butler is going to get not even a second-round pick, right? In comparison, like, what's his value now?
I don't know. Like, I would say before the last like indefinite suspension, I would have said my bet he goes to the Warriors. Like that finds a way there.
Yeah, just if not the Suns, right? If they somehow got Bradley Beal to go somewhere, right? It's got to be the Warriors, right? I agree.
If they could lure Bradley Beal to another team, it's the Suns. I don't really have faith in that. But the Warriors are the other one that makes sense, quote unquote. But I wouldn't do it if I was the Warriors because, like, why are you bringing that guy in? Like, everyone thought the only place Jimmy certainly would never make problems was the Heat. Like, he's a Heat guy. Like, his attitude, the way he goes about everything, he is a Heat guy. Now, he's mad he didn't get paid, and I think that's 80% of what is going on here. If he got an extension in the offseason, I think he would be a happy guy. But like, why are the Warriors going to bring that in? They're going to have to trade Wiggins. Wiggins isn't as good as Jimmy Butler when Jimmy's playing, especially not in the playoffs. But Wiggins fits that team. Wiggins defends at a high level. Wiggins doesn't need the ball. He just contributes in his role. But biggest thing is he doesn't create problems. Am I going to bring Jimmy Butler into that locker room when you already have a alpha type guy with that similar mindset in Draymond Green? Love Draymond Green as a player too in his whole career, but him and Jimmy just feels like a ticking time bomb. right? Like
Mhm.
that could just explode. You're in these last ditch moments to try to get Steph and Draymond before they're done with their careers any chance at competing. Jimmy would do that, but then if that goes south and you had to pay him, like you're just screwed over because then no one's want to trade for him. And I know you're saying like he tanked his trade value by saying pretty much Suns only. The bigger thing that tanked it is him handling this the way he did.
Yeah.
Like getting that, like leaving practice and disrespecting Spo. I think that's being overlooked here. Like disrespecting Spo might not mean a lot of things to fans that think Spo's not doing well, or might not mean a lot of things to
Trade
just
Spo. Trade
yeah,
Spo. They
just
say on Twitter. I can't. We don't need to get into that because we're not crazy, right? Like
yeah,
he's having a bad year, but for who do you want to trade him for, right? I don't want to go off on that tangent, but yes,
yeah, no, like, but even then, like other coaches respect Spo,
of
GMs
course.
respect Spo, all of them, and if he's going to do that to Spo, who they claim, who other coaches and other people claim as like a top 3 coach in the NBA
He's the
at
best.
worst, typically. I'm
Yeah.
saying like at worst, like they're like he's like top 3. Do you want to bring that guy in? Be like, this is like the most respected coach in the NBA outside of Greg Popovich, arguably. Like he doesn't even respect him. I think that's the bigger thing. Like there's just so many things working against the Heat right now. I would be fine with trading him. I don't want to like dump his salary, but if you can get something back, I would do it. Memphis is who he should go to, though, but he apparently doesn't want to go there. I think Memphis would be great.
It
And
doesn't
for the
matter.
Heat,
It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter if he doesn't want to go there. It's just they're going to lowball us. They're not going to give us.
yeah.
They're not
Well,
going to
like,
give you. They're not going to give you picks or like young assets. They'll give you maybe not even Marcus Smart. It's like take Clark and Concher and whatever else you can add up to $49 million and like take it.
well, yeah, if he didn't say I'm not signing an extension, or if he changes his mind on that and would sign an extension, and the Grizzlies would do that, I think you could get a good enough offer to get him.
Yeah, you get Marcus Smart in that package, who would be
Yeah,
such. I hate Mark. I've hated. I mean, I don't hate him as much anymore because he's not on the
hate him on
Celtics.
another
But you know what I
team.
mean?
Love
Like
him.
we hated
Yeah.
him on the Celtics. But he would
Oh,
be someone, right? Fox.
I 1 second here. Sacramento is finalizing a trade to send Fox to the San Antonio Spurs in a multi-team trade that moves Zach LaVine to the Kings. So
Interesting.
Bulls, Spurs, and Kings. I did not mean to disrail us here, but like that's like literally just happened while we're doing this, which we can talk about. I think this impacts the Heat a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
That's several teams that the Heat could have potentially found a way. And then there was another trade that happened that really just still doesn't make sense to me and makes me mad.
Yeah, get into it. What's your thoughts, man? I couldn't believe it. I think it's just outlandish. I
One,
hate the
I thought it
Lakers.
was fake.
Yeah, me
Like
too.
any reasonable person thought it was fake. And yeah, Luka being traded for Anthony Davis, who is still a really good player, Hall of Famer, top 75 player. But my gosh, man, who trades Luka Dončić? Why don't they call the Miami Heat too?
Because we have no assets, I guess.
Okay, I am the biggest Bam person in the world.
Oh, he's gone.
If they call and say, hey, we want a defensive guy, I will cry while I accept that trade. I will literally be like, I love you, Bam, so much. Give me Luka Dončić.
Dude, are you throwing Jimmy too? Because Jimmy's gonna get traded anyway. Say Jimmy and Bam for Luka in a first round pick. Done, right? All day. I'll take it. Sorry, guys. That's it. Bye,
Yeah.
Bam.
I mean, like, there's 4 players, I'm going to say, in the NBA that are talented enough to be in the GOAT debate when they're done. Not including LeBron. He's already there. You got Luka, you got Jokic, Giannis, and Wemby. I'll include Wemby. Wemby's still really early. But, like, those guys are, like, generational's thrown out so much. Those guys are generational. And they offloaded Luka. Like, they, like, wanted to get rid of him. He should have known that whenever you call the other GM and he asks if it's a joke, you should know you're probably making a mistake here. Then when you tell your owner and he laughs at you, That's another thing. You should probably make a joke. And then you don't even tell your coach. And I don't know if you watched Jason Kidd in this presser. This man, someone needs to do a wellness check on Jason Kidd. He looks like he can't believe it. It's the dumbest trade in NBA history. It's the worst trade in NBA history. I know we don't have to spend too much time on it, but does that change Jimmy Butler's price? Does that change where Jimmy Butler goes? Like, what? This is so unbelievably stupid, and this is the biggest trade in NBA history, and there was no rumors or anything.
They did it in the dark. They did it in the shadows. They called one team basically, or one other team. But you know what I mean? It's just like it seems like fishy.
They only talked to the Lakers. From the Mavs GM himself. They said that they called other teams at first, but they only called the Lakers and said, "Give me Anthony Davis." And obviously, the Lakers were like,
"Hell
sure.
yes,
yeah."
And one pick. Mikal Bridges got 5. What that like? You can't even get 3, like at least minimum. And Anthony, I mean, because you still get a great player in Davis, who's a top 12 player,
really
very good.
Player.
But he's 31, and he's also injured. Like he's out. He's at the end, not the end of his prime, but you know what I mean. He's on his last legs of his prime, and Luka's not even into his prime yet. Like they say 27 is your prime in the NBA, right? 27, 31 ish, right?
Yeah.
So
AD
was there. He got a championship with LeBron, all that crap, but he's an injury prone guy made out of glass. Like, you're concerned Luka's out of shape. Like, okay, he still took you to the finals, out of shape, averaging almost a triple double. He's 25. Like, lose some weight. Like, it's fine. I just don't get it.
Hire a nutritionist. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
you want to give him the Supermax? Like, why? He's still a top 3 player in the NBA.
It's basketball malpractice. And like, everyone calls me a front office apologist, and I'm going to be one right now. Y'all want the Miami Heat front office fired because y'all say they're the worst in the NBA. Pat Riley never traded LeBron James for Kevin Garnett. Like, he never did that, right? Like, we would have lost our minds.
That's a great example because Kevin Garnett's awesome. He's still amazing. He's a great defensive player. He was a champion. Like, he's really an older good. Garnett with a younger LeBron. That's a good analogy. It'd be great. It's also like Dallas, like that's a good fit though. You know what I mean? It's like a good
team now.
I think it's better for them now, but it's also like the future makes no sense. Like the Lakers, it makes no sense.
It's the future thing. Like, now they can still contend somewhat. I don't have much faith that they're gonna like make it out of the second round. I think second round's their max limit. But like, they're still a solid team now. Dallas. Like, I think their ceiling was higher with Luka this year if he came back healthy and like played to the level than with
AD on there. But I think it's okay because Kyrie becomes the man now. You have him, you have Lively, you have Gafford, you have Washington. I think it's better for Dallas in a sense for like this year and next year versus the Lakers, because the Lakers bet is the future, right? Because him and LeBron need the ball in their hands. Like, how's that going to work?
Yeah,
LeBron's old.
That fit's not like ideal, but also I'm going to watch every game I can. Like, I also used
to be a Luka fan, but I hate the Lakers more than any team, you know this, in the world, and I hate the Lakers so much that I can't like Luka anymore. Like, I hate the Lakers so much that I can't like the league. I can't like them anymore. Sorry, Luka, not your fault, but
hey, I'm tuning in. I can't believe he's going to be wearing that purple and gold. It's just crazy. The Miami Heat never get that lucky that someone calls them offering up the worst trade package in history. Our trade package was called the worst trade package in history. And that included an all-star, then 2-time rising star guy, then other really good rotation players and picks. And this included made of glass Anthony Davis in 1 pick.
Hey, so Joe Cronin doesn't look as bad as this guy Nico, whatever his name is, right?
Gosh, yeah. Shout out Joe Cronin because he is now the second worst GM in the NBA.
Yes. All right. Let's stop there. I want to be able to record a video around the Fox stuff. You should maybe join me as well. But anyway, thank you so much, Major, for hopping on. Really appreciate it. I need to have you back on this week when Jimmy Butler does get traded, because I think it's happening. There's no way he doesn't. So let's see what happens. But I'll have you back on for sure this week if you can. Yeah, for sure. Sorry for derailing us, but that was like kind of shocked me. Like, as I was reading it, I didn't think it would be that soon. No, I had a feeling. Yeah, we had a feeling. So yeah, I'm like, I got to make a video on that shit now. So yes, we'll have more information around Jimmy Butler. But yes, this trade, we don't have the full details yet, but it looks like Fox is going to be going to the Spurs and pairing up with Wemby, man. That's crazy. The
It's
West
crazy.
is a freaking gauntlet now. That's insane, right? So good thing we're in the East, huh? For now.
Yeah. Been a good thing for a couple years.
Yes. All right, Major. Thanks for up and on. And again, hey, let the guys know where they can find you before we hop off.
Yeah, just you see my name, Major_Passing. So just add an underscore in between my name. Mainly on Twitter still. We just having fun building a community of loyal Miami Heat fans and just talking about whatever the heck I want to talk about. We just like building community and having fun over on my Twitter.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I don't know if you want to join me on this one for a Fox one, but I was